it's Sevi. You know the drill, it's the Spiral Abyss reset for 3.0, featuring new enemies from the Sumeru region. I'll be giving my walkthrough and tips to help you deal with this brand new cycle. As usual, this guide will feature teams of all 4-star units plus Traveler. The teams I use are easily replaceable, and it's up to you to decide which 5 stars and team alternatives you'll slot in. I'll be giving general advice for enemies' attack patterns and strategies for countering them that should be generally applicable. And as we can see, this cycle's blessing increases attack whenever you deal damage via Bloom, Hyperbloom, or Burgeon, clearly favoring Dendro meta. But you can certainly clear this with teams that don't use those mechanics. For Floor 11 first half, I'll be using a Fridge Hyperbloom team. For the other side, I'm going with a classic Sucrose national team. But the team options here are very flexible, as you can go for crowd controlling units to disable enemies or your high DPS teams. However, you'll notice that the second chamber is full of Hydro Mimics, so you will want a way to disable them like Cryo, or having a strong shield or healer, and to be able to hit the flying Mimic Hawks. The first chamber is a Protect the Monolith one, and 3 stars take 60%, which is very generous. For the first wave, the Hammer guys spawn in front of you while the Potioneers spawn behind you. I focus on the Potioneers first to prevent them from throwing their potions. Push them towards the monoliths so they won't be too far from the melee enemies when it's their turn. In the second wave, there's another group of Potioneers on one side and Hammer guys on the other. The Potioneers this time will focus on you, so you can let them throw their potions away from the monolith first. Then I focus fire on the Hammer guys while they head straight to the monolith to stop from doing as much damage. Get rid of everyone as quick as you can. For the last wave, you get a Day Thunder Eremite who can do a lot of damage to the monolith if he keeps swinging close to it. Prioritize interrupting the Day Thunder Eremite. It should eventually shift its aggro towards you. The archers, like the Potioneers, will stay in place and hit the monolith from afar, and the female Axe Eremite will just follow you. If aiming for 3 stars, it's alright if it comes down to slightly less than 70%, since the second half is way easier.
I'll be back.
Yeah! Propagate!
This half just has Mighty Churls and an Electro Churl. That shielded Mighty Churl will charge towards you, while the Axe Mighty Churls prioritize the monolith. But even if they damage the monolith, there should be enough health left from the last run, and you can just kill them as quickly as possible. Then the newly spawned Electro Churl will aggro you, not the monolith, so just lead it away from the center and take your time.
Everybody stand back! Let me leave you a verse. Rain outlines your fate. Let's light it up! Absorption test.
In this half chamber, you're fighting Oceanid Mimics, so if you have a cryo unit like I do, you can freeze them in place and avoid you getting staggered and damaged too much. If not, then just shield and iframe. The Hawks are the trickier ones, but they can be hit by ranged or AoE abilities. The second wave is very similar. You can head towards them or wait for them to approach. Use your AoEs to kill them quickly, or Cryo to disable the Mimics. For the third wave, there are no more Hawks. Most of them will head to you, but the Cranes will stay in place. This last wave is easier to gather the Mimics and keep in your AoE. If you're aiming for 3 stars, it's okay to spend over 2 minutes on this side, as the second half is relatively fast. This side only has 2 Geo Vishaps. You can attack them from one side and again push them into each other to kill them faster with AoE abilities. Since I have a lot of time, I just stay in place and let them leap to me. So the first wave of this chamber is a Fatui agent and Eremite archers. Go in from the side to push the archers into each other. The Fatui agent will follow you anyway. Try to catch as many of them in your AoE abilities as possible.
I'll be back.
Scatter! Out of my way!
The second wave has 2 Eremites and a Pyro Gunner. Hit them again with AoE damage and try not to let the Pyro Gunner live long enough to get its shield up.
Stand with me!
Shouldn't get killed.
I'll settle this! Propagate!
This half has an Electro Regisvine and it can be done in around a minute or so. To expose the core at the roots, wait for it to drop both its seed things. Once you've destroyed them both with Cryo, Pyro, or Dendro, the core at its roots will reveal itself, which you can hit with melee attacks. You can also target the core at its head between the seed drops to start reducing its core's HP. Anyway, once the core is vulnerable, it's pretty straightforward. After breaking the core, the Regisvine falls, and it's very easy to kill at that point.
Stand clear!
For floor 12, I used an Aggravate team in the first half and a national team in the second half. But I tried switching them around, which also worked. Just remember that in the second and third chamber, the second half features a single boss, so make sure you have a team with sufficient single target damage. The last boss, Jadeplume Terrorshroom, also has a particular weakness against Electro or Quicken teams, which I'll discuss in that chamber. To start, you can charge towards one Ruin Earthguard already. The farthest one should walk or run towards you. Keep them close to one another. You will likely incidentally paralyze them with AoE damage as they expose their weak points during their attack. As long as you keep hitting them simultaneously, they should be done soon.
Midnight Phantasmagoria! Absorption test! Propagate! Germinate!
Run immediately towards the ruined Skywatch, then start attacking depending if you have a ranged DPS or melee DPS. It can be very mobile, sometimes circling you, and at rare times floating up to the sky. Be mindful of laying down abilities while it's moving, as it might just move out of the field right away.
Surrender and I'll be gentle.
With an archer, you can shoot its glowing weak points while it's doing its charging attack to force it to the ground. Entering the second half, I tried to make it easier by doing a charge attack to throw the Eremite archer towards the group, which can make your AoE abilities more effective.
Rain outlines your fate. Let me weave you a verse. Know my sword!
Don't leave the Pyro Gunner alive for too long either, because its sniper shots can do unexpectedly high damage against your non-shielded characters. The Hydro Eremites will just follow you, so there's really no need to chase them, but you can dispose of them anyway if it's convenient.
I'm going in! Rain cutter!
Confess!
Once they're disposed of, run towards the second wave, this time with 2 Fatui and an Eremite. If you have an Animo unit, disable them again. I prioritize the Pyro Fatui because the Pyro Fatui can keep sniping you if left alive too long.
Know my sword!
Will meet.
Afterward, I target the Electro Fatui. It will get its electro armor up, but at least it will stay in melee range and you can keep dodging its attacks. Since I have enough time, I use this opportunity to recharge my bursts for the next chamber. With a strong Anemo suction like Kazuha or Venti, this half can be trivialized. With Venti or Sucrose, you can use the back-to-the-wall technique by going behind either the Mirror Maiden or Sisson Mage, let the Eremites walk towards you, and aim your burst at the center. It should pull them together. If you don't have, grouping the enemies up will be generally very helpful. To do that, go to either side past the archer. You'll notice the farthest archer run toward you, while the archer in front can again be charge attack or forced to back away. Then push them towards either the Mirror Maiden or Sisson Mage. In this run, I'm prioritizing the Sisson Mage to ensure she doesn't enter her lightning state.
Let's spark things up a little.
Once you're done with the Sisson Mage, just focus fire on the Mirror Maiden and keep chasing her when she teleports away.
Try not to enjoy this too.
Power flows through me! Odds reveal that.
You're in for a little shock.
Scatter!
The Geo Bishop here is very straightforward as it's basically a DPS check, and we've encountered it in many previous Abyss cycles. I generally wait behind it so that if it charges towards you, it'll head towards the edge of the arena where it's easier to manage. Having a shielder helps a lot in order to block its special attacks. You can also generate a crystallized shield by using Bennett's Burst to apply Pyro to yourself when the Geo Bishop deals its Geo melee attacks. You can also get Pyro applied to you from the Geo Bishop's Fire Breath. Best case scenario is that if you have a Geo Shield or a shield of the same element as the Bishop, stay in front of him so he'll do his vomit and get damage from your shield reflecting that vomit.
Everybody stand back! Let me weave you a
All in all, I tried to iframe as many attacks as I could using my bursts or by dodging, and the rest can be handled by brute force DPS.
Let's light it up! Going in! Rain cutter! Rain outlines your fate. Let's light it up!
The first wave here has the big Bishop and two smaller Bishops. There are two strategies to open with. You can either lure the two small Bishops away like this, which is safer but will take longer to finish, or if you have high enough DPS and quick reflexes, engage all the Bishops together with your AoE damage. In this run, I took the latter option. I forced the big Bishop to the corner while making sure to dodge the energy draining orbs the small ones spit out. These Bishops are easily staggered, even with charged attacks, which can make it frustrating to keep them together if your attacks do a lot of stagger. But on the positive side, it means that you can interrupt them when they're trying to charge up their own attacks.
Swirl, Mark 2!
Midnight Phantasmical.
Let's spark things up a little.
Terminate! Stand clear! Yeah, absorption test! By royal decree! Anemo test 6308.
Then for the three fungi that come after, I prioritize targeting the Hydro and Cryo ones first as they can freeze you.
Enhanced
Surrender and be gentle.
Scatter!
The Hydrofungus also inflicts slowing water, while the Cryofungus has a cage ability.
Oz, reveal thyself!
Come a little closer. Don't be such a brute. You're in for a little shock. Try not to enjoy this.
Midnight Phantasma.
Stand clear!
Now for the final half. If you haven't fought this boss before, when you inflict Electro, Quicken, Aggravate, or Spread reaction, it fills up its Fury meter. Once it's full, it'll unleash one of 3 special attacks, but these are very easy to avoid as long as you maintain your distance, dodge, or iframe. It'll then be paralyzed for 15 seconds, and it has reduced resistance during this time, so Quicken teams will be useful here. But again, I'm plowing through with National Team since its DPS is already very high.
Witness the power of Gugwa! Huh? No, my sword! Hey, out of the frying pan, it's... Nice and spicy! Let's light it up! I'm going in! Ring cutter! Rain outlines your fate! Out of the frying pan, it's... Eat this! Let's light it up! Everybody stand back!
Fracture.
Nice and spicy! No, my... Let me weave you a verse.
And that's all for this Abyss. I hope some of the tips helped you complete your runs. Let me know in the comments how your experience went with this cycle. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all soon. Take care!